Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Philly Cooking with Maurice. This week, we're going to highlight our Week 7 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota Sunday 1 p.m. Where do I begin with this one? Now, I said on the pod last Wednesday that the biggest matchup concern for me going into this matchup will be uh, our defensive back group or secondary versus the receiving core of Jordan Addison, and uh, Justin Jefferson. Um, that is going to be the biggest key, the biggest matchup in this game. And as of right now, I don't see how the Philadelphia Eagles win this matchup. Now, we'll say as of recording this Friday, Quinyon Mitchell was a full participant in practice. We will see how that goes with his hamstring injury. He left last Thursday's game early on against the Giants because of their hamstring injury. And we all know hamstring injuries can be touch and go. So going into this matchup, we have Quinyon Mitchell. And that would be a great matchup to see him one-on-one with Justin Jefferson. Now, Jordan Addison is the other one. Now, as of right now, Adoree Jackson is going to get the start alongside Quayon, and Ringo will be coming off the bench, and of course Cooper DeJean is in the slot. I suggested on the pod that maybe Cooper can play the CB2 in our defense, and I don't foresee that happening just because I think Cooper is just so good at what he does that you don't want to take him out of his element. Once again, still a young player, only in the second year. So, um, yeah, Dory Jackson is going to be it. And the passing attack is going to be led by Carson Wentz. Of course, all Philadelphia Eagles fans know who Carson Wentz is. And he's kind of having a little mini resurgence with the Minnesota Vikings. And, being a person that kind of sort of rooted for Carson Wentz, I'm happy for Carson Wentz. Happy that he's getting a second chance at being an NFL quarterback, an NFL starting quarterback. So I'm happy for him. J.J. McCarthy is about a week away. Their running back Aaron Jones is about a week away. So their running back room right now is comprised of uh, Jordan Mason, who is okay running back. He's okay running back. I don't really fear Mason going into this game. What I do fear is the passing attack. I do fear TJ Hawkinson, who is a really good tight end, very underrated tight end. If Carson Wentz can get going, get into his groove, like we've seen many times here in Philadelphia, well, if he can start the game off on a groove, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day for our defense, who is still reeling from that Giants game. Now they lost Zadarius Smith, who retired abruptly, and they don't have a pass rush. So if you don't have a pass rush on Carson Wentz, he has the time to just tee off on you. Like I said, it's going to be a very long day for the Philadelphia Eagles defense. A very long day. I want to see what they do with Jahai Campbell. Nakobe Dean should be in line to start, or at least get a lot of snaps in his game. I'm going to be curious to see what they do with Jahai Campbell in this game. On the other side of the ball, our offense has been talked about so much over the last couple weeks. Team meetings, guys are coming out saying what's wrong with this offense. It's too bland. It's predictable. Yada yada yada. But the talent will always be there for the Philadelphia Eagles. They just have to execute. And by execute, I mean the offensive coordinator, Kevin Tulo, has to call the right plays, has to, switch things up, make the defense see other things pre-snap and go from there. It also has to do with Jalen Hurts as well. Jalen Hurts has to be more consistent. It wasn't a great game. Wasn't a good game at all for Jalen Hurts in the Giants game. Missed some throws. Eyed down the receiver and got intercepted by Flock of the Giants. Overall, not a good game for Jalen Hurts. He needs to be better. This offense needs to be consistent. And with consistency comes staying within their identity, and that's running the football. Um, how do they get Saquon Barkley going? Just have to be consistent. And I think that's the word of this episode right here. This offense has to be consistent. They have to get him going early. You can't run away from, you can't lose sight of running the ball. You can't get stuck on, passing the ball, even if they're down. Even if down a touchdown or two. Consistently run the ball. It will open up the pass for the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. Now, with that said, though, no real players on the Minnesota Vikings defense really stands out. Obviously, they have Isaiah Rodgers, who's a former Eagle cornerback. They could really use him right now. Harrison Smith, Javon Hargrave. Some notable names here. Jonathan Allen. But overall, this is a really great group defense. I think as of this recording going into this week, they've allowed under 100 total points. Excuse me. They've allowed under 100 total points so far this season. Now, they did have a bye, so they only played 5 games. So they still only allowed under 100 yards. It's going to be tough sledding for this Eagles offense if they can't start running the ball early. If they get too pass happy, it's going to be a really bad game for this offense, who's talked about over the last 10 days getting more consistent with their offense and executing the right way. Do I have faith that this offense can get it going? Yes. Do I think it will be this week? No, I do not. I think this offense, I think this is a bad week for this offense to really get going. Because, like the Denver Broncos, I think this Minnesota Vikings defense is really underrated. I think they're really good. They play great team defense, they tackle well, and they don't allow a lot of mistakes. And for a team that's trying to get on track with their offense, defenses making mistakes helps a lot. But I don't see this offense putting more than, now offensively. They could be defensive or special teams. I don't see this offense scoring more than 17 points. I don't. Not this week. Not this week. I think over the last 2 games, I've lost a little bit of faith, and the Eagles have lost a lot of cachet when it comes to their fans, including me, of just giving them the win based off of them being better or more talented than the others. There's a lot more else to it, and so far this season, I'm not going to say it looks like 2023, but it looks like the thrill is gone. The lust, the allure, if any a better word comes to my mind, the championship sparkle, the twinkle of last year, it's kind of gone. And can they get it back? Yes. How they get it back? A resounding win, a dominant win. I would like this team to play 4 quarters of Eagles football, which they haven't done all season. They put together a good half, one game or another game, but this team has not put together 4 quarters of great football this season. And until they do that, that's when I can really, truly jump back on the bandwagon when it comes to this team being one of the best teams in the league. Until then, they have to prove me wrong. And I hope they do. And I surely hope they do. As a fan, I hope this team comes out and prove any naysayers or doubters wrong about how this team executes. So on both sides of the football, and even special teams, I would like to see Xavier Gibson get a shot at returning kicks this weekend. Um, Add a little juice to that special teams return unit. And defensively, I get it. They're young. I get it. They're young, and Vic Fangio is doing the best he can with the talent he has. But when it comes to just offense, when it comes to defense and defensive players standing out right now, I haven't seen much. Zach Bond has done a great job as per usual. Jahai Campbell has showed me a lot so far as a rookie. Quinyon Mitchell had a bad game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but overall still a great young corner. Cooper Jennings a great young corner. I need to see a little bit more from Akuba, but he has shined so far. The defensive line, I think, I can't forget Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis has won this team maybe 2 games early on. The block field goal game and the first game of the season against the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's won us basically 2 games. I think Jalen Carter hasn't really shown up yet this season. I'm waiting for him to splash and do the things that made him a Pro Bowler and All Pro. So, with that said, my score for this game, I'm going to have the Vikings win this game 28-17 Vikings. They're on the road. It's going to be tough. This team has to get back on track, but I don't think it's this week. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'll come back on here next week, and I'll say I'm wrong. They proved me wrong. My football team proved me wrong, but until I see it, I have the Vikings winning this game 28-17. So with that said, I'll see you guys next week for week 8. Until then, have a good one. See you.